Okay, are you ready for some real talk? But first, let me ask you one more question. Have you ever been crammed into an airplane seat, your elbows tucked in, you barely breathing, just praying that the person next to you does not spill over into your space? Or worse, have you been that person in the seat, feeling every single judgmental glance, side glances, wishing you could just disappear? Yeah, we're going there today because this is a conversation that nobody wants to have, but everybody needs to hear. And by the end of this video, I promise you, you are going to know exactly which seats to book, which airlines actually have your back, and the one trick most plus size travelers don't know about that could change their entire flying experience. So make sure to stick around until the very end, of course, so that we can get through this uncomfortable topic together. But first, let me tell you something I'm honestly a little embarrassed about. A while back, years ago, I was on a flight, sitting in the aisle seat, when a plus size couple came to take the two seats beside me. The woman sat in the middle, and I won't lie to you, my energy shifted immediately. She was a larger woman. Her hips were pressing into my space, and I spent that entire flight squirming, shifting, and giving her some awkward looks. Looking back now, I cringe at my behavior because I was so focused on my own discomfort that I never once stopped to think about hers. She was probably mortified. She was probably praying that nobody said anything. She was just trying to get from point A to point B like the rest of us. And that is exactly why I made this channel to talk about issues like this. Because plus size passengers are people too. And we all deserve to travel with dignity. So let's get right into it. Make sure you stay right here with me because coming up, I'm going to share a little known seat hack involving the armrest on the airplane. And trust me, once you know about it, you'll use it every single time you fly, whether you're plus size or not. Here is something that the airlines don't advertise. Economy seats have been shrinking for decades. Why? Well, it's all about their profit, plain and simple. The more seats they squeeze onto the plane, the more money they make. And for plus size travelers, that means what was already uncomfortable has become nearly unbearable. Now, some people seem to think that it's on the passenger to accommodate the airline. And look, I get both sides. But what I will say is this: no passenger should ever have to pay for a seat and then share it with a stranger or even have to pay for two seats just to have a comfortable flight. That's not fair to anyone. The good news though, there are options, and knowing them ahead of time is everything. Let's talk about the airlines that are doing it the right way, or at least better than the rest of the airlines. Southwest Airlines. This one is a game changer. Their customer of size policy lets you buy a second seat in advance, and if the flight isn't full, then they will refund you afterwards. Now, you do have to file that claim yourself though, so don't forget that step. For the peace of mind alone, it's worth it. Delta Airlines. Delta doesn't have a formal passenger of size policy, but their Comfort Plus and first class seats give you more room. They also have accessible booking support to help you choose the best seat. And here's a heads up. Their premium economy is basically domestic first class. We're talking 232 seat configuration instead of the typical 343, which means a couple extra inches of width and more seat pitch. That matters, right? I know it does. JetBlue Airways. JetBlue is known for having some of the most generous economy seats in the aviation industry. Their even more space seats go up to 38 inches of legroom. 38 inches. That's practically luxurious in economy. Alaska Airlines, similar to Southwest, Alaska lets you buy a second seat and guarantees a refund if the flight isn't full. Their premium seat also comes with extra legroom and the same space like JetBlue does. And speaking of space, I haven't forgotten about that armrest trick that I promised you. That's coming up in just a few minutes. So please keep watching. Now, let's talk seat strategy because where you sit matters just as much as which airline you choose, as I just discussed. Bulkhead seats. These are the seats at the front of the plane of each cabin section with no seat directly in front of them. It gives you more leg room, easier to get in and out of, and you're not sandwiched between rows. So I love these. Aisle seats, always a solid choice. You have freedom to shift, stretch, and you're not boxed in on both sides. This is actually my personal go-to on most flights. Exit row seats, more leg room, but make sure you check the airline's policy first because some airlines do restrict plus size passengers from sitting there due to safety regulations. So always confirm before you book your flight. Window seats in premium rows. If you want a more private experience with a little extra space, premium window seats near the emergency exits can be a really comfortable option. First class or business class. Yes, it costs more, but if your budget allows you, the comfort is incomparable. And here's a tip that most people don't realize. Buying two economy seats is almost always cheaper than upgrading to business class. Buying a row of 3 seats in economy, sometimes even cheaper than 2 individual seats because you avoid the extra taxes and the extra fees. So do your math before you assume that you can't afford the space that you need. Okay, I didn't forget that I promised you that Armrest trick, and here it is. If you're in an aisle seat, and I mean the actual aisle seat, look underneath that armrest on the aisle side. There's a button. I want you to press that button. That armrest lifts up, and now you have a few extra inches of breathing room into the aisle. You need to stay aware, though, of the drink cart while it's coming along and people walking by. But that little button has saved many a flight. You're going to thank me for this next time that you fly. Here are a few more things that will genuinely make your travel life easier. Book early. The earlier you book, the more seat options you have. So don't wait. Use seatguru.com. This site lets you look up the exact seat layout in the plane, the dimensions, and the floor plan for any flight on any airline. It's free and it's incredibly useful. Bookmark it right now. Download the legroom plugin for Google Flights so that you can compare legroom across airlines when you search. Bring your own seatbelt extender if you're a plus size traveler. Yes, you can bring your own. It saves the awkward moment of having to ask the flight attendant for one on the plane. Just make sure that you check the type your airline uses first. Call the airline directly to do so. This is something that people overlook. Call them, explain your needs calmly and clearly, and ask what they can do for you. Most airlines will work with you when given advance notice. Join loyalty programs. Frequent flyer status can lead to upgrades and better seat access. So if you fly the same airline regularly, it pays to commit. Check in with the gate agent before you board the plane, especially if you've purchased 2 seats. Let them know so that they don't try to fill that seat with a standby passenger, and so boarding goes smoother. One more thing before I wrap up, and this one is for the passengers sitting beside a plus-size traveler. So stick with me for just another second. If you ever find yourself sitting next to someone who is taking up more space than their seat allows, please remember, you don't know their personal story. Some people are medically obese due to prescribed medication. Some people are dealing with conditions completely out of their control. And a little grace and kindness and sensitivity goes a long way. And if you genuinely need more space, the right move is to quietly and respectfully speak to a flight attendant. Try to avoid the sighs and the sideways looks. Just have a calm conversation. That's it. I also want to say, I honestly believe that airlines need to do better. What do you think about that? Comment below. There should be a system at booking where passengers can enter their measurements and be guided through the right seat or seat configuration. That would eliminate so much embarrassment and conflict before it even starts. The fact that this isn't standard yet, that's on the aviation industry to really do better. All right, that's a wrap on today's video. If you got any value from this, please hit that subscribe button because I upload new content quite frequently and I don't want you to miss a thing. Hit that notification bell as well so that you're always first to know when a video is uploaded. Please check out the ebook links in the description as well for more hidden gems on how to fly smarter, cheaper, and more comfortable. You'll be glad that you did. And drop a comment below. I genuinely want to know, what has your experience been flying as a plus-size traveler or sitting next to one? Let's talk about it. Until next time, safe travels, and remember, you deserve to be comfortable when you fly. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.